everyone. This is On the Rise. I'm your host, Mike Feinberg. With me, as always, is Armando Gonzalez and Gerardo Ramos. How you guys doing today?
What's up, fellas?
All right.
Our guest today is Jose Shorty Torres. Shorty's an MMA fighter with a perfect 12-0 record as an amateur before making his professional debut. He now holds a 9-1 record as a pro boxer, and he's fought twice in the UFC. Hey, Shorty, how you doing?
I'm good, man. And a little small correction. I know Tapology and Sherdog like to mix things up a little bit or not put the full stats out there. I was 25-1 as an amateur with multiple world titles in different combat sports like kickboxing, Muay Thai, and stuff like that. Not just MMA, but everything's good, man. Everything's been fun. It's crazy with the quarantine stuff, but you know, hey, I'm doing the exact same thing.
Just sitting tight and doing what you got to do at this point, huh?
Well, I've been bred for years, especially my pro career, to travel, train, be in the gym, go upstairs, eat, sleep, go downstairs, beat someone up, get beat up, come back upstairs and repeat. So for me, I stayed at American Top Team in the dorm, so literally nothing has changed. Everyone's like, hey, you have to stay inside. Well, inside for me is literally inside the gym. So if I want to go downstairs, there's some bodies there, we can move around, have some fun.
Right. What do you think about this pandemic going on out there? I mean, what's your take on all of it?
I mean, it's crazy because, you know, one of how people are reacting, but I believe it's very, very understandable. There's a lot of people that are getting ill. The cases are spreading all around the world. And I believe there's a lot of things that we personally don't know or haven't been told to us. And it's crazy how just the states in general are, you know, we're supposed to be one of the most powerful, dominant countries in the world, but we're falling behind with this disease, and we're, you know, lacking the natural resources to take care of everybody, not just, you know, the people who are actually sick, but the people who are taking care of us while we are sick. And it's really crazy, but, you know, hopefully things pass. Hopefully this quarantine stuff, you know, goes by after April 30th and things can slowly get back to normal. But, you know, until then, we need to do what is required by us to be as safe as possible.
Yeah, man, right. I would have never thought in my lifetime to be going through something like this, but it's definitely taking its toll on me, man. I'm driving myself crazy.
And that's the crazy thing is, you know, like for me, you know, again, given everyone has their own little story with this, but like for me, last year, I was down here for about 2-3 months thinking I was going to fight in August. The fight didn't happen. So I was like, you know, let me go home for 2 weeks and then come back. I did so, was ready to fight in November. And then maybe a few weeks before my November fight, my father passed away. So I was like, damn, okay, well, maybe let me do this fight and go home, spend time. And, you know, I ended up becoming really just emotionally unstable. And I was like, yeah, I can't fight. So that's 6 months that I didn't fight. So I haven't fought since April. So it's about a whole year now. But at the point, I was like, man, those are 6 months I'm never going to get back. And I could have just stayed home with my family, especially my father, and spent that extra time. For me, I've been down here for about 11 weeks. And I'm like, wait, I'm not going to fight? Oh, man, my mother's home alone by herself. My grandmother's, you know, one of the elderly in the nursing home that are quarantined pretty much forever. And so this is all, you know, died down. So it's like, I wish I could be home with my family, but right now, technically, this is the best place where I should be, is at the gym, staying ready. Because, I mean, you see the UFC. I mean, I know other promotions are taking taking this thing very, very seriously. Bellator, Brave, Rize, where they're not even going to try to have events, but the UFC is trying to, you know, possibly force this next event, which is maybe going to see other, you know, UFC or other MMA promotions try to do the same thing. So I'm just staying ready just in case.
All right. So as you mentioned, it's been almost a full year though since you were in that cage. Are you think you're ready just to jump right back in there? You think there's gonna be any rust on you when you get back in?
I don't know if there's going to be any rust because I've been training the entire time. If I were injured and literally doing nothing and kind of learning how to re-ride that bike, then yeah. But for me, I've been really dying to get back in there. It's been a whole year, obviously, for you guys being promoters and being in the fight world. Fighters don't make money unless we fight, unless you have a monthly sponsorship or do stuff on the side, which for me, I have monthly sponsorships, but, you know, enough to get me by right now, but not enough to, you know, get me a house and do this and do that. I'm not that popular yet. So for me, I need to fight for a living, and not being able to fight for a whole year, I'm just glad that, you know, my brother likes to call me a stereotypical Jew. He's like, dude, all you do is save your money. You get a paycheck, you just save your money. So luckily for me, I have my savings and everything I can, you know, dip into. But there's a lot of people out here who, you know, like yourselves, can't run a promotion right now. You can't run any events. That's money. That's extra publicity. It's extra social media. It's literally not just stopping an event from happening, but stopping everyone, involved in it. Plus everything you could have had moving forward. I mean, I know I'm definitely facing myself that I have to go through, and everyone's facing theirs. But again, we are doing what we believe is right to, contain this.
Get it over with.
And I do know you were set for that November bout, and as you mentioned, your father passed away, and I'm sorry to hear about that as well. And
Our condolences.
was he very well involved with the fighting?
He was actually one of the only reasons I started fighting. My father was Rocky in the first movie. He was a goon, in the gang that pretty much was sent the enforcer to collect money. So I grew up fighting. My dad was always violent, at least when I was a kid. So by the time I was, my brother's 8 years older. So by the time I was, born and raised, it was a little more, relaxed, not as aggressive, but it was always overall, you need to learn how to fight, because I'm going to beat you up whether you want it or not, whether I'm really actually mad and you're in the way, or I'm going to play fight with you and teach you how to fight. And my dad, again, being the gang member he was, of, getting used to violations and just like that, he would send my brother after me. He would send his friends after me, and I would just have to learn how to fight. So for me, I literally only fought for my dad, and my main goal is always to be a hero. So I was like, oh man, two birds with a stone. Every time I fight, people get inspired, and every time I fight, my dad is very happy and pleased. So he was the main reason why I decided to fight and why I'm a fighter still today.
Nice.
That's awesome, man.
So since that November bout, obviously you mentioned you were scheduled to fight again just recently. I think that was a March 28th bout, if I'm not mistaken. And it looked like you were probably ready to fight and thought you were still going to fight right up until what, maybe just a few days before the fight?
Yeah, the funny thing was, it was 2 weeks, about a little less than 2 weeks, I think, like 13, 12 days when the fight officially got canceled. And all these promotions were slowly dwindling down, going, hey, we're going to cancel this event, cancel that event. And my manager was just like, hey, your event might be canceled. I'm not saying go get fat and, do this, do that, but your event might be canceled. So don't just, be upset because you had your hopes high. For me, I was 2 weeks out. I'm contacting Brave, and they're like, we're trying to figure it out, because there was UFC Brasilia. They were still having the event, but it was closed doors and everything behind the scenes. And they were still trying to figure it out. They had to wait until Monday until the governor of the part of Brazil that we were going to fight in announced what was going to happen. And for me, I was hanging out with some of my friends, and they had some food. We're watching UFC Brasilia fights. I was like, I'll indulge in some of the home cooking because I'm 2 weeks out of the fight. I'm cutting weight. I ate a little bit. I was like, man, that was pretty good. I haven't had rice in a while. I had this. And then I started thinking, I was like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. My fight might not happen. And then I started eating a little more, little I know. I'm like, damn, I've had like 3 portions of meals in one sitting. I really hope this fight doesn't happen. I'm not even lying to you. Really, and then that night I found out the fight didn't happen. And I was like, damn. But I don't have to cut the weight anymore. So I got a little happy. But it is one of those things that we're always going to have that fighter mentality. No one wants to do the hard work when it comes to getting ready for a fight, especially when it comes to cutting weight. But it's part of the job.
Yeah, it's funny. So had you known even prior to that meal, you probably would have had 5 or 6 portions.
Right?
Yeah. I would have brought. Well, see, I went there and I brought like some real nice, small, healthy snacks. But then after, I'm like, man, if I was gonna mess up, I should have messed up properly. I should have went to Publix or some of these grocery stores and just brought up all my stuff. So I definitely had my week of indulging, obviously because of these puffy cheeks. But I'm still working out, still doing my thing, just staying physically ready and in shape. But again, you just don't know what's happening. The crazy thing is, you really can't plan ahead, so you kind of have to go day by day with this.
So now, what's your normal workout routine? Obviously, you're saying everything has kind of stayed the same for you with the workout. So what do you normally do in a workout?
I mean, for me, we still do little things here where the guys inside the dorms will go downstairs, have some fun using the gym, roll around, whatever the case may be. So my usual schedule is definitely 2 practices a day. If it's during camp, it's about 3. Usually one is the hard practice, the pro class, where it's pretty much everyone, whether it's wrestling, sparring, jiu-jitsu, grappling, whatever the case may be. And then I'm having sessions with Dean Thomas of being able to flow, drill. And some of those times it might be live flow drill of, real life situations. So it could be a hard practice, could be a light practice. And then I'm also doing my own thing where I'm running 3 miles every morning or every night, depending on what the schedule has in store. If I'm doing sparring, I'll run at night. If I don't have sparring, it's just a regular day, I'll run every single day in the morning around 7 or 8 in the morning. So it's I'm always I'm always active. Right now, you can't really go out. Florida's going to start, having that shutdown, I believe, starting Friday. And once that's on, coaches can't come on in. We can't really go anywhere unless we have a proper excuse of going to get, medicine or seeing a doctor, going to the hospital, getting groceries, stuff like that, or taking care of someone. So, more than likely, I'm gonna be doing 2 workouts by myself, on the bag downstairs, or trying to see if some of these guys want to roll around or do something to stay active, because even though it's a great place to be, doesn't matter if it's home, doesn't matter where you're at, you're in a room by yourself doing nothing. Eventually it starts to seem like prison. So you got to get out, you got to do something.
Yeah,
And
man.
this quarantine is going to get a little tough for a lot of us, but you got to keep our head up and know that we're definitely, especially during this time, we're not the only ones going through it.
Right. Tell me a little bit about, while you're staying with a bunch of ATT guys. So you're eating and breathing and living with these guys at all times. What's it like to be like that?
Honestly, it's crazy. It depends on who's in the dorms. Most of us here, I wouldn't say are antisocial, but we're definitely just, that's it. We're in our rooms. We'll be mutual when we see each other outside, like, because we have the public bathroom, we have the public kitchen here. So we all have to share that stuff. So going out, it's like, oh, hey, cool. My turn to use the microwave, or like, oh, excuse me, I got to get this. That's pretty much about it. We're usually just in our rooms most of the time. And then if it's actual training schedule, then we'll, intertwine and mingle during practices. But that's pretty much about it. It's usually work, come upstairs, sleep, relax, and I want to be by myself. It's usually not by choice. I mean, some of us will go out and play Call of Duty or play games on the big TV or whatever and have some fun. But most of the time, we're pretty much in our room doing our own thing.
Nice. So now, have you been notified at all about a potential new date for that fight that was canceled on March 28th?
Nothing at all at the moment. I know I'm actually supposed to call Brave representative today to ask him, what's up. But he, it's just one of those things that, again, they're playing it day by day. They would love to plan ahead and say May, June, whatever the case may be. But right now, the hardest part for me and even Brave is that we have a flyweight tournament. So I believe it was an 8 to 12-man tournament. And we had 3 fights scheduled throughout the year. It was supposed to be March, April, June, July, and then November at the World Championships in Bahrain. But because of the way things are, happening, I mean, maybe we'll do a PFL style where we have 2 fights a night instead of it being 3 rounds. Maybe it's 2 rounds. Maybe, we speed up the dates and we fight once a month if we're healthy, So but we'll see what happens. But right now, I really don't expect anything until maybe mid to late June.
All right, so Shorty, we want the fans to get to know you a little bit better. So why don't you tell us a little bit about where you're from, where you live now, what do you like to do? Obviously, you're kind of stuck with the training all the time, but when you're not training, what kind of things do you like to do?
If I can sleep, I definitely sleep. I'm an insomniac, so I definitely struggle with that. But my favorite hobby is eating, which is my worst part about being an MMA fighter, because I always have to be on a diet and I always have my cravings. It's really bad. People would probably think I'm a pregnant woman because I'm always cranky, craving, and always wanting certain things. But my hormones are going wild in here. But honestly, man, I'm a little shorty from Chicago. I've been there, all my life. I've been doing martial arts since I was 4 years old. I'm 27 now, so I believe my math is right. That's 23 years of experience. Going to be 28 this year in August. Hopefully, I have a fight before then. We'll see. But man, I've been doing a lot. I've been in the sport, at least MMA, since I was 16. Turned amateur when I was 18. Lost my first one. Went 25 straight. Multiple time world champ. Pan American champion. Man, I did so many sports. I was a college All-American in wrestling. I ended up graduating with a degree in leadership and sports and exercise science, or in fancy term kinesiology, because my stuff was technically labeled as pre-med in my university. But eventually I turned pro at 23, and now I believe I'm 9-1. Sorry, I get punched in the head a lot for a living, but I'm 9-1. I'm a UFC veteran. I went 1-1 in the UFC. I'm now a Brave flyweight contender, and hoping to fight for the flyweight belt very, very soon. Just time will tell. But for me, the biggest outcome for me is I'm only pro, or I'm only a fighter for my father. He definitely wanted me to do this. But for me, I want to be able to help and inspire people. And every time I fight, I'm able to do so. And that's why I have my own foundation. That's why I always have my gear on, the Team Shorty Foundation. So 100% of my proceeds on my website, teamshorty.com, goes to my foundation to help keep kids, teens, and young adults inside the gym and off the streets, whether that's making them and getting them gear, paying their monthly fees, paying for them to go to tournaments and travel, paying them for fights if they're a professional fighter, and I'm helping them with sponsorships, and just doing little things and doing personal training sessions with them and trying to create my own little squad of trying to help people inside the gym. And little people know I'm able to like donate to Youth Crossroads and different organizations through other foundations and go, hey man, it might not be getting you into martial arts, but it's still getting you outside the streets and inside some type of place that might be outside the state, might be outside the country, might be doing something very, very different, but definitely not out in the streets. So yeah, it's been a huge thing, man. And fighting's been able to allow me to do that.
It's good stuff. That sounds great, man. Tell us a little bit about the fight style that you prefer. Like, what kind of fight would you rather be in, what you're more comfortable doing, and then maybe a little bit about your strengths and maybe where you could find some improvement.
My strengths are, and it goes in order too. Boxing, Muay Thai, Judo. So for me, I love to keep the fight standing, even though I'm technically a wrestler at heart because of being a wrestling All-American. I hate taking people down. I'm one of those guys that like to put on a show. My favorite sport is boxing. My favorite fighter is Manny Pacquiao. If you tell me to name a favorite fighter in MMA, I don't have one. I can care less about MMA fighters. I was actually on MMAfighting.com. They're like, what do you think about Manel Cape? The rising champ going to UFC. I was like, no offense. It's not even a throw shade. I don't know the guy. Like, I don't look up MMA fighters like that. So I really don't know. You say boxers, cool. I know all these guys. But I like to keep the fight standing. I like to make it a fun, entertaining show. And plus, no offense to the average fan, they don't know much about jiu-jitsu and all that stuff. So sometimes they see it as a boring fight. So for me, I want to make it, bloody, gore, and put some action. Whether I'm getting knocked out or someone's getting knocked out, at least I know that people want to see me back. I'm like Donald Cerrone. No matter if I win or lose, you want to see me fight again. So my fighting styles are boxing, Muay Thai, Judo, and it all goes into a nice sequence. Boxing, and I'm a pressure boxer, kind of like Canelo, where he's a counter pressure fighter, walks forward. If people don't want to take the heat and they come into clinch, cool. I have the knees, I have the elbows, which I've been able to really change fights because of that. And a lot of people don't like that either. So I get the perfect 5-point throw and be able to mount them or be able to finish the job on the ground. But my biggest, I guess, weakness is for me, I know one of the things that I need to work on is being off my back. Getting taken down and getting back up is not my problem. But if you're able to solidify me on my back, I feel like a damn turtle. Like, we're drilling so many things right now, and I just feel so useless sometimes when I'm drilling with some people. And I'm like, wow, I'm so used to just scrambling and getting up real quick. This is nothing. But now I'm on my back, and I really can't get up. I feel like a turtle sometimes. And it's just little things that, I'm not used to. Again, I'm a person that likes to stand up. I'm a wrestler that's never been pinned in college. So being on my back wasn't a norm for me. So now being on my back and trying to be comfortable there is something I'm still trying to get used to now.
Shorty, are you mentally still, are you mentally still there, ready to fight, with all this Corona stuff going around?
I'm always mentally still ready to fight. The only time I actually had to back out mentally was because my father passed in. The time before was the Alex Perez fight, where I really just did not care. I was going through so much mentally then. And that's why all of last year I was really preaching a lot about mental health and people seeking out help and people, going to see a therapist and just venting and talking more. It is a crazy thing. I think mental health is something that's very, very belittled in the fight world. And that's something I posted about, especially when my father died, that I just didn't even want to fight. And I had one fight where I said that, and I ended up getting TKO'd for the first time in hundreds of fights pretty much with all of my career. But I was like, I definitely don't want to do that again. So let me take care of myself mentally and come in 100%. So if I do lose, it's because the guy was just better than me and there's nothing I could have done compared to saying woulda, shoulda, coulda. So I'm always ready to fight. I've had a whole year to pretty much prepare myself and get ready. I've been reading books, which I have a stack of books next to me that I still have to read and get to, which is funny because that's something I always complain about the quarantine of like, man, I wish I had more time to do this or do that. And now I have nothing.
Now you got all the time in the world.
Damn, I don't want to do it. Let me just take a nap. So I'm trying to motivate myself to do certain things. I can always motivate myself to work out, but be productive is always hard.
And that's why I was asking, mentally, because you're saying that, you're used to being able to just go downstairs and, hey, let's drill. And now with this whole Corona thing and the fighters not, being there all the time, I'm just, is it mentally, breaking you down? Like, shit, I can't get out there and roll, whenever I want and when I feel like it, because, you know what I mean?
It's a crazy thing because it's pro and con. There's that con of like, man, I can't practice to my fullest extent. Cool, I can do stuff by myself. I can do bag work, but that gets boring. It only can get so fun, and for me, I look at it as, you know what? This is actually a really good break. That's all I do is train for 3 fights, 4 fights a year. Last year I only got 1, but I was still training pretty much 9 to 10 months away from home, away from this, away from that. Let me take this time to finally relax my body. And it's crazy because I took 2 weeks off of no sparring, no contact, no anything. All I did was drill, just 2 weeks. And then a couple days ago, I went downstairs with one of the guys. We were just moving around, and I'm like, I don't move like this. Why am I flowing so beautifully from once in my life? Oh, it's because I let my body and my mind take some time to relax and really rethink why I was getting beat up, why I was getting this. Maybe I should do this in practice. I was like, you know what? I don't have a fight anytime soon. Let me just have fun and practice stuff I don't usually practice, stuff I definitely need to work on, and go, oh, look at that. It actually works. So I'm taking this as a positive thing. Honestly, once the days go by and it becomes the months and hopefully not years, it starts to get difficult. But trying to keep a positive mindset is a huge thing.
Well, I wanted to ask you something about that. That's good that you guys are keeping a positive mindset over there. But what's the morale like in the building, in the dorms there amongst the fighters?
The morale, we're all looking forward to what's next. The only problem is we're fighters, man. We're super impatient. We're super stubborn, and we're very, very prideful. So we just want to get to work, especially because we don't get paid or nothing gets to advance in our careers until we fight. So everything banks on the next event. A lot of us, especially myself, Marlon or Adriano Moraes, and a bunch of guys down here, we're just like, or Juan Porta down. We're like, dude, we all had fights coming up. I think Adriano was supposed to fight early April. I was supposed to fight last Saturday. Juan Porta was supposed to fight, I think, 2 weeks before me. So we're all just kind of like, what's going to happen next? And then you hear some events slowly like, oh, we're going to try to have this. Oh, no, we're not going to have this. We're going to try to have this. Oh, no, we're not going to have this. Oh, this fighter's going to fight. No, he can't fight anymore. So it's one of those things that we're just trying our best to stay ready, but we're also trying to go day by day and not look too far ahead and get our hopes up and now be crushed when things don't happen. So again, it's trying to know that, again, we are not alone in this. It's not just, oh, dude, it's just happening to you, like, screw you. No, it's happening to all of us. And that's, as selfish as that might sound, it's a nice thing knowing that you're not alone.
Absolutely. I would imagine that you guys are a tight-knit group, like when I was in the military, in the barracks, all we had was each other. You know what I'm saying? We go to work and you go back to the barracks. Do you guys, like, play pranks on each other there? Do you guys, like, what do you guys do to keep each other spirits up,
What's crazy, because again, in the dorms here, it depends on who you're with. When I first came here last year, we would have fun, play Call of Duty, watch movie night, all that stuff. Now there's not as many people. They kind of left before the quarantine started, or they had fights coming up, so they already were gone and had the fight and went home. So there's only maybe about like 5 guys in the dorms, all of us different sizes, so it definitely is a little hard to kind of get it all situated. But again, we're all pretty much in our room. That's I think the most difficult part is that we don't intertwine or mingle with each other. So we just kind of stay to ourselves. So everything is, doing an interview, contacting someone from home, or I guess before the shutdown really starting tomorrow, go to someone's house, go to the beach, go to the park, do this, do that. There's definitely a lot more time to get out. The only problem is that's not the rule, and that's not something you should do. So it's a morality thing of like, should I stay home and listen and in a sense possibly help society, or should I help myself and go somewhere else but possibly end up hurting others in doing so? It's crazy you say that, you're part of the military. There's a group that I talk to almost every Wednesday and Thursday called MVP. They're called Merging Veterans and Players, and they're based, I believe, in LA or Las Vegas, but I know they have a chapter in LA, Las Vegas, New York, and one in Chicago. And basically it's veterans and former and current professional athletes that pretty much come together where we're so used to a tight-knit group, but once that's gone, what do you have? will we
It's
still keep
true.
that possible for a lot of
Yeah.
people? And I'm pretty sure whatever you did in the military, where you're actually in the front lines or behind the desk, you had to travel, whatever the case may be. And even for myself being a professional player, even though my stuff is single action sport, I'm with a team. I don't get there unless I have a team with me. So when that's all gone, what do we have? So going back to MVP, we do an hour workout session. And then after that, we have about an hour and a half to 2 hour venting sessions. So what we've been doing right now is just doing this on Zoom and just kind of having a big group of people and having some fun of, cool, we'll do a nice little on-camera workout. And then after that, we'll just have a sit-down venting session. If you want to open up about whatever, whether it's military, whether it's about sports, stuff you're going through at home, or just, hey man, and it doesn't even have to be bad. It doesn't have to be super negative, or it could be, dude, honestly, I've had a really good day today. I just want to let people know I'm really happy. And it's a cool time knowing that you have a lot of people that actually understand what you're going through. Especially
That's a beautiful
military.
program. That's a beautiful program because it's true, man. Once you get out the military, you lose that brotherhood that you had. You know, it gets ripped away from you. So having the opportunity for military members to reach out and be a part of that, like that's one reason why I was drawn to the fight community, you know, like covering the photography or video or whatever, because I see the brotherhood and the bond that you guys have. You know what I mean? So that's great that you're involved with that program, MVP. You should open up a chapter here, man, in
Well,
Florida.
it's crazy because I went there to support when I thought I was going to be signed to Bellator before the UFC, and Bellator was running an event there. This was like their first time having the event for MVP, and I was like, all right, cool. I'm going there to support. My coach is Marine Recon. My manager was a Marine, and so many other people around my family and MMA community are military. So I was like, you know what? Let me go support, and I'm just going to sit there, shut up, just introduce myself, and that's pretty much it, and just listen. And little I know, I kept on going. I was like, man, I'm suffering from some anxiety. Let me speak out about this. And then people would give me advice. I'm like, oh, wait, this is kind of crazy. You guys supporting me. And then when my father passed away, he was buried in Chicago. So my father passed away. There was a big group, a bunch of his gang members and friends came. And then out of nowhere, given some of my childhood friends came, some of the guys from MVP showed up. And I'm like, what's up, man? Like, do you know my dad? And they're like, no, man, we're here for you. Like, brothers stick together. We don't have to say anything. We don't have to do anything. Like, we stick together. I don't
That's
care if you're
deep,
military or
man.
not.
Yeah,
That's just
Wow.
how it is. And I'm like, it's crazy how I went there to support you, but now I'm getting support back without even asking for it or anything with, whatever the case. And they're just like, dude, we're a family. That's just how it is. Automatically, if you're in this barrack, if you want to say, we're a family. Even if I don't like you,
that.
we're a family.
Like that gang quote, Batos Locos forever, man.
Yeah, no, and that's seriously what it is. And that's, given I wasn't in the military, even though my coach was always saying, like, get a job, join the Marines, help your mother, stuff like that. It was one of those things that, he instilled us on, we're a team. Doesn't matter if this guy's not your weight. Doesn't matter if this guy's technically helping you or not. We are 100% a team, and we can't do this alone.
Absolutely. That's
Shorty,
awesome, man.
I got
Go
a
ahead.
quick question, man. You've been to a couple of our shows and, a couple of our pro shows. And I think the last one we did at City Soccer was our first Rize amateur show. What did you think about them?
It was cool, man. It was definitely very, very different. Different scenery, different, place, but it was a cool time, man. I think you guys had like intermission shows too, which is something very, very different. Usually promotions that are coming up, they'll have intermission and it's like 10, 15 minutes, people go out, get drinks, and that's pretty much it. There's no action. There's maybe some music, but now you actually have local stars coming on in and trying to give them their shot as well to get a little more popular, get a little more fame. You're not just helping the fighters, but helping also people in the local community trying to show off their talents, which I thought was a really, really cool thing.
Did you think? Did you go to that ballpark show?
I don't believe I went to the ballpark show.
No,
Oh, yeah, actually, yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And that was cool too. I've been in a fight. Actually, I've personally been in a fight on a field like that before outside. Given my time was raining, so you guys had some great weather. But you guys were actually on a professional field, which I thought was really, really cool. You had the baseball lights and stuff like that. I thought that definitely filled out the moment.
Yeah, that was one of our best shows, man. That was a really nice show. As far as working with amateur fighters, do you work with any of those guys out at Top Team?
I mean, the amateur team have their guys, their coaches. I'll
Right.
come and help every once in a while. One of the guys that I helped. His name is Sebastian, and I sponsored him for a Florida tournament. And the reason why I sponsored him, I don't go like, hey man, I like you, come here, or like, here, you have a good resume. He's technically 0-1 with no other experience. And I go to him and I was like, hey, you spar with Joanna almost every day. You spar with Kayla Harrison. You spar with Pedro Runhos and all these world champion fighters. And you're 0-1 as an amateur. How old are you? He's like, oh, I'm 19 at the time. And he would come in at like 7 a.m. to help me drill some stuff. And I was like, what are you doing now? He's like, oh, I'm going to school. I just had to hurry up, help you. And then now I'm going to school. I was like, dude, you're not getting paid by any of us. You're just helping out of your generosity without getting technically anything in return. He goes, oh, well, I'm getting practice you guys and it's making me better. I was like, oh man, like I feel like I should do more. So I ended up, my team comes to Orlando every single year for the International Kickboxing Federation tournament, the IKF. I did it. It helped me out a lot, and it got me a lot more accolades and got me ability to travel around the world for fights as an amateur. So I was like, dude, I'll sponsor you for this tournament. And he ended up doing with no kickboxing experience besides sparring with world champion people. Dude, he won 3 fights in 2 days. He ended up becoming a novice world champ in kickboxing. I was like, look at you.
Wow.
And it was one hell of an experience. I was like, why weren't you going to do this tournament in the first place? He goes, oh, I didn't have the money. I paid for the hotel, paid for him to fight, or the tournament fee. And I go, if you win, I'll take you to Universal Studios the next day. And he ended up winning, and I had to, spend the extra money for Universal Studios. I'm like, damn it, man, But I was real happy for him. It's an experience to just get out of the neighborhood, whether it's Coconut Creek, Parkland, just to get out. I mean, especially my neighborhood in Chicago, like we're gang infested. So for people, especially kids, that get out of the city, nevertheless, some suburbs is a huge thing. Some guys don't even make it out of the state, So it's like, this is just a different opportunity to do it, something different for him. He wants to do the tournament again. That's supposed to happen at the end of July. Hopefully everything still goes on, but he's super excited. And because what he did, other fighters from ATT are going to join me. So it's a domino effect.
Absolutely.
All right, Shorty, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. I know we're running out of time here, but we really appreciated getting to know you a little bit better. And we hope you'll come out to maybe even our next event. You mentioned Canelo Alvarez earlier on. We got our own Canelo that's going to be fighting on the card. We were just talking to him yesterday. Isn't that right, Armando?
Yeah. He's our, what's he, the, what was his
Soul
name?
Taker?
The Soul Taker. I was
Soul
about to
Taker.
say the Green Reaper, but Soul Taker. Fire red, dude. Fire red.
All right. Well, hell, I'm definitely excited. Let me know when that is. Hopefully everything goes according to plan and not get pushed back because all this stuff. You guys, please stay safe, healthy, and I appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Thank you too, man.
Likewise, man. Appreciate you being on, man. Thank you for your time.
No problem.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. Take care, Shorty.
Take care. Armando, real quick.
Yes,
if you want to learn more, well, all you guys, if you want to learn more about the MVP stuff, let me know because they're doing online stuff, so anyone can join. But please let me know if you guys are interested.
Absolutely, man.
And,
I'll definitely reach out.
That's all free. That's all free. So it's just a support group.
Awesome, dude. Well, I appreciate you letting us know about it.
No problem. All right, guys. Take care.
All right.
Thank you, Shorty.
So this has been our latest episode of On the Rise. As always, with me, Armando Gonzalez, Gerardo Ramos. On behalf of the both of them, I'm your host, Mike Feinberg. We welcomed our guest, Shorty Torres. Have a great night, people. Take care. Stay safe.